Good morning, students. We are going to do today second part of chapter Nazism and Hitler. In the last video, we have done that in the First World War, Germans lost the war, which were called as Central Powers. After they lost the war, they established a Weimar Republic government in the country, which was not liked by the German people as they accepted all the punishments which were given by the winning powers who were the allies. And today in this video you will do now the Treaty of Versailles. Versailles is a place in France. Now what was the treaty? After any war ends, whosoever wins or loses, there is always a treaty or an agreement which is signed between both the powers, the winning powers and the losing powers. So this time the Central Powers and the Allies powers, they signed an agreement at a place called as Versailles in France. And this agreement was moreover harsh and humiliating peace. It was very much humiliating and too much harsh for the Germans, because according to the Allies, it was the Germany who started or who is responsible for the war. So what was the Treaty of Versailles? They had agreement in that all these points were written. Germans lost its overseas colonies. That means wherever the Germans occupied earlier, the colonies which were occupied by the Germany earlier, now they were taken by the Allies powers. 13% of its territories were taken away by the winning powers. 75% of its iron, that is Germans, whatever iron was present, that was taken by the Allies powers. 26% of the coal, iron, coal, these are the base for many industries. So these major regions were occupied by the Allies powers: France, Poland, Denmark, Lithuania. Not only this, German was further humiliated by taking away their military. That means demilitarization. That means they cannot keep their military. So that now this all was done so that they can weaken the power of Germany. And Germany was held responsible for the war damages. As I told you, it was the Germany which started the war. So Germany was made responsible for the war and the damages caused by the war, due to which they had to give a compensation amounting to 6 billion euros. Earlier it was mark, so it is 6 billion mark. That much amount of the money the Germans had to pay to the winning powers. Not only that, the Allied armies, that is the winning army, they have occupied the resource-rich Rhineland for much of the 1920s. So the winning powers occupied a very rich resource area of Germany, that is Rhineland. And many Germans held the new Weimar Republic responsible for accepting all these norms which were given, or all the punishments which were given by the Allies countries. Because the Weimar Republic, they have never got against the Allies. Rather, they supported the Allies, they accepted all the punishments which were given by the Allied countries. So that is about the Treaty of Versailles, which was very harsh and humiliating for the Germans. So that's all about the part or the beginning of the part 1. We start with the next part of the chapter, that is 1.1. Now 1.1 explains about the effects of the war. First World War we are talking about. The effects of the First World War. So not only on the effects were seen in the Germany, the effects of the war were also seen in Europe also. So the war had a devastating impact on the entire continent, both psychologically and financially. The people of Germany, the German government had suffered financially, and people of Germany suffered psychologically because they were defeated, they were humiliated. So they suffered psychologically also. And when we talk about Europe, the whole Europe, not only Germany, even the whole Europe suffered a lot. Europe earlier, before the First World War, Europe as a continent was the most rich continent of the world. So they used to give credit, they used to give loans to the countries. But due to these wars, they became or they turned creditor to debtors. Debtors means now they started taking loans. Earlier they were giving loans, but now because of the war, they lost so much of resources that now they turned into debtors. Debtors means loan takers. And Germany was forced to pay compensation. As we have seen in the Versailles Treaty, that Germany was asked to pay the compensation. So they were forcefully made to pay the compensation. And that compensation was given by the Weimar Republic, because that was the government which was charged, that they were the responsible government, so they have to pay the money. And those who supported the Weimar Republic, like socialists, Catholics, Democrats, people did not see them happily in Germany. The German people were against this government Weimar Republic. They were against the socialists who were the supporter of this Weimar Republic. They were against the Catholics and Democrats who were also the supporters of this government Weimar Republic. And people started attacking upon them. They were mockingly also called the November criminals also. They were called as November criminals also. So this mindset had a major impact. The people's mind, it was completely affected because of the punishments given by the winning powers. And these all led to so many different political developments in early 1930s in Germany. So what were the developments in Germany? And not only in Germany, even in the whole Europe, there were so many developments took place. For examples, soldiers came to be placed above the civilians, and above the politicians, above the civilians. Soldiers occupied the important place, because now every European country, whether it was Germany or France or Britain, everyone wanted masculine, that means more stronger men for the army. So every country was preparing for another war. So they placed the soldiers above all the civilians. So politicians, publicists, All they laid great stress on the need of men to be aggressive, strong, and masculine. So, what kind of men were needed for the war? Who were very strong, strong body, strong mind, those who are aggressive. Such kind of people were required for the war because people have seen the life of the soldiers, especially during the First World War. The media after the war, they have shown in the news about the glorified trench life. All the soldiers before they were caught, especially the German soldiers, when they were defeated in the war, they started hiding in the trenches. Children, what do you mean by a trench? Trench means it's like a kind of a sewage system. A sewages, you might have seen the sewages or underground. Not even sewages, under the ground, the tunnels were there. So these people used to hide in those tunnels, and these tunnels, these soldiers had miserable lives in these trenches because these trenches were trapped with lots of smell, lots of rats, and so much of unhygienic conditions over there. And in such unhygienic conditions, these people used to live over there, the soldiers. So the media has shown all the news about the glory of these soldiers, how they lived in these trenches. That was what was shown. And the media also publicized about the soldiers that they should be placed above all the people of the country because they were the ones who used to give their lives for the country. Such kind of propaganda through the news that has given an opportunity for the people to raise their voice also against the existing governments. And these soldiers were given the public honor also, and they used to become the public sphere, public honor. And many people started raising their voices, putting their ideas against the existing governments so that they can further take the revenge. And democracy was indeed a young and fragile idea which could not survive the instabilities of interwar Europe. That means between the First World War and Second World War, there were democratic country. There was democratic country, republic democratic country in countries like Germany. But these governments or these political parties could not survive for a longer time because people were against such kind of governments because people wanted to take revenge. People wanted to take more radicalism. They wanted to change the society. They wanted to change the country's norms and want to take the revenge. So, next part is the 1.2, that is your political radicalism and economic crisis. The political atmosphere in Berlin, which is in Germany, charged with demands for Soviet-style governance. Now, the people of Germany, they don't want Weimar Republic. They want that in their country also there should be a communist form of government, just like the communist form of government in Europe, which was called as Bolshevik government. In Russia, there was a government, communist form of government, which was called as Bolshevik government. Because these Bolsheviks, they started revolution in Russia against the monarchy government in Russia. So these Bolsheviks, they started communist form of government. So that same kind of communist form of government was required or was wanted by the people of Germany. So in Germany, people wanted to establish same kind of government which was established in Soviet Union at that time. So these people, they were against the Weimar Republic, and they were also against the supporters of Weimar Republic. Who were the supporters of Weimar Republic? We have done just now. They were socialists, say they were Democrats, they were Catholics. All these people were the supporters of Weimar Republic, and they were not liked by the German people at all. But if if the people, the common people will raise their voice, do you think the government will keep quiet? Definitely not. Weimar Republic government, they crushed this uprising. That means the people, those who were raising their voices, they were crushed. That means they were, many of them, they were killed, and they were killed by the free corps. It's actually in English, it is written as free corps. It is actually a German term which is freak, Freikops, free corps. Now, who were the free corps? They were the corps who were actually the voluntarily, they used to become voluntarily take part in the military. They used to voluntarily take part in the military. So they were called as the free corps. So they were used by these people, that is the Weimar Republic. They used these free corps, and these free corps killed lot of German people who were against this Weimar Republic. I hope you have followed, children. I'll try to explain it again. It's little bit twisting over there. Free corps means the corps or the military people who joined voluntarily. They were called as the free corps. They existed from 18th to 20th century. They were private armies. In other words, I can say that they were the private armies who worked for the Weimar Republic. So they hired them and they made them to kill the people, those who were against them. Now, these people, those who were against the Weimar Republic, they framed a political party and they were called as Spartists. I'm repeating, the people of Germany, they framed a political party, and this party was called, the people were called as the Spartists, those who were part of this political party. And they formed, these people, they formed their own party called as the Communist Party of Germany. So the people of Communist Party of Germany were Spartists. Okay, because this is the party, Communist Party of Germany. This was formed by a person called as Karl Liebknecht and Rosa Luxemburg. They formed this party, Communist Party. Okay, so it was earlier known as the Spartist League. It was known as Spartist League. So they formed this party. And when this party was formed, at that time, this when there was a changes in the politics, where it is called as a transformation. At that time, there was already struggle in Germany. At that time, to add more problems, there was economic crisis also in Germany. So to add the problem, there was economic crisis in Germany in 1923. Now, what is this economic crisis? What do you mean by this, or how it has started this kind of crisis? We all have seen that Germany lost the war. Germany had fought the war largely on taking loans because initially Germany was rich, but as the war stretched for 4 years, Germany had taken lot of loans from the other countries. Now they had to pay back the loans, but these loans they had to pay back in gold as demanded by the winning powers. So now returning in gold, what happened when the Germans started returning their loans in gold, that has depleted their gold reserves. So now even the gold reserves or the resources were scarce in Germany. So when the resources were scarce in Germany, what the Germans started doing, Germans refused to pay because they were they were giving in gold, they were selling their resources to pay back, but still they were not able to pay completely the loan. Finally Germany refused to pay, and when Germany refused to pay, what did the France do? France had occupied Germany's leading industrial area, which is Ruhr, which had lots of coal. So that region was taken away by the France, which is a winning power. So now German was left with nothing. There was even the scarce of bread in Germany, not even food to eat for the Germans. And now Germany retaliated. It got angry and now it had to give some response. What it started doing? It had started printing paper currency recklessly. You know, paper currency. They were printing in their own country their own paper currency because they didn't have money, they didn't have any resources. What happened now? This led to a further, rather a difficult situation for the Germany. Because when you start printing more currency in the country, that will not at all solve the problem. So what happened? Germany started printing currency and there was too much of printing money in circulation. The money circulation was in too much, because of which there was problem in the country. The value of German mark fell because in those days the currency of Germany was mark. So their currency completely fell in the market because anybody's currency is related with the dollar, that is compared with the dollar. So their currency completely fell. Now because of this, what happened? How it fell, you will see now. There are figures given over there. You will see, which is very interesting here, children. In the beginning, the US dollar, it was compared because with the US dollar only. Just okay. So in the beginning, it was 24,000 US dollar was one US dollar was equal to 20,000 marks. Then it further started increasing 3,53,000 marks. So you can see within the months, 1 month, within the August, it reached to 46 lakh, then it reached to 98 million marks by December. So that means $1 equal to 90, approximately 98 million marks. So not only this, the figure had run later on into even trillions also. As the value of mark collapsed, what happened? The prices of the goods soared. There was increase in the prices of the goods. Further, what happened? The image of Germans carrying cartloads of currency notes to buy a loaf of bread. That means to buy just a piece of bread Germans had to carry their currency notes in a truck. Imagine, for example, in India, if this happens, you have to, for example, if $1 becomes equal to 98 million, that much amount of notes you have to carry even to buy a piece of bread. So are you able to imagine, I think, now what I'm saying? So this crisis, now this kind of crisis is known as hyperinflation. In economics, this is an economics term, hyperinflation. And this is a situation when prices rise phenomenally. There was increase in the prices of the goods, but there was collapse in the mark equal in comparison to the dollar. That is why there was a situation of hyperinflation. So the German was not able to come out of this problem of hyperinflation. Finally, what happened? The Americans, from whom Germany had taken loans, because Germany took loans from America. So finally, Americans interfered in Germany's matter and taken out Germany from this crisis. And they have taken out Germany from this crisis by introducing a plan which is called as Dove's Plan. Dove's, again, an economist, he had made a plan that how can Germany come out of this crisis, and finally it worked properly and Germany was able to come out of this crisis and it was eased from the financial burden. Finally, it was eased from the financial burden. So that's how German was able to come out of this problem of hyperinflation which they themselves have created in the country. And now we continue with the 1.3. When there is a crisis in any part of the world, that kind of economic crisis affects the whole world. It's not that only it affects one. Suppose if in present, if there is an effect of COVID in one country, it is, we all have seen, it has affected the whole world. Same way, when we talk about economic crisis, it affects the whole world. So the years between 1924 and 1928 saw some stability, yet this was built on sand. That means it was not stable. The economy was not stable. What happened in the year 19 between the 1929 and 1932? There was economic crisis in USA because many countries which have taken loans, many of them were not able to return to USA also, and USA also was facing these economic crisis because of the increase in prices, and Germany took short loans from the USA, and finally USA had withdrawn the support to USA. The USA had withdrawn support to the Germany because now they were no more giving the loans because already US had given lots of loans to Germany, and which Germany for a longer time was not able to return to it. And in USA there was a Wall Street exchange, that is their stock market. Wall Street exchange is their stock market that has crashed in 1929. Crash doesn't mean anything. Crashed means it collapsed. That means their economy collapsed. And there was fall in prices at that time. There was fall in prices. People made frantic efforts to sell their shares. This is all about economics. Shares are there. The company shares are there. When the economic crisis were there, people started selling their shares. Even at very, very low prices, they started selling their shares. Now, because of which on a single day, example is given, on a single day, near about on 24th October, near about 13 million shares were sold. So there was beginning of great economic depression in the whole world. For the next 3 years, between 1929 to 1932, the national income of USA fell by half. Factories shut down. There was unemployment. Exports fell. Farmers were badly hit, and all the people, those who put the money in the market, they had withdrawn their money from the market. These all effects in the US not only affected the US, it has affected the whole world. So how it affected the Germany, that we will do in the next part, children, in the next video. So that's all for today, children. Hope you have followed. You can go through it again, read the book, or you can listen to the video again and again so that you can understand further, and we will discuss even during the online class, children. So that's all for today. Have a good day, students.